I have two series, among others. One is called Quiet Moments, where I talk about thoughts and things like that I've had. The other is my piano series, where I sit down and, like I just did, put my hands to the keys and whatever happens, happens. This video is a little bit different because what I wanted to do was I wanted to combine those two things into one video. So I'm gonna do a little bit of the piano, and I'm going to talk with you a little bit. And I'm not gonna play while I talk, mostly for technical reasons. I don't want the phasing of the mics, but also because I want to just connect with you and talk to you. And I have something specifically that I wanna talk to you about today. And that is frequency and intention and heart frequency. Okay? And I'm going to talk to you about that in just a few seconds. I think it's really, really important. It's realizations that I've had about things and continually to have about things. And, it can resonate with you or not, whatever. But I have to speak what I consider to be my truth. And as I say, it can resonate or not, but, somebody may want to hear it. If you don't want to hear it, shut it off. Anyway, that's what we're going to talk about today. Frequency is an energy vibration, and you can feel it, right? If somebody is in anger, there's a certain density to that. If somebody is afraid, there's a different feeling to that. It's got a different frequency. Frequencies resonate with thoughts. They resonate with emotions. They resonate with sound. The frequency I just played there was, it was coming from my heart. So that would have been a connection with creativity and, basically the love I have for sound and the love I have for playing. And also too, I wanted to just mention, my piano has been tuned to 432 hertz, which is the frequency of nature. It is the frequency that connects with nature. Now your body is nature and you're part of nature, so that's that same frequency. That's why I had it tuned to that frequency. The heart frequency is when you feel your heart. I mean, what makes your heart burst? When you see like I go for walks, and I'll always have these little kids. They'll be like, maybe, I don't know, 2, 3, but little kids, they'll always wave to me. Like a little kid when I'm walking, they'll be in their stroller, they'll be walking, and they'll be with their parents or whatever. And the little kids always will look at me and go, and I go, I mean, I think my heart just like breaks into sunshine when I see that and when I experience that. It's like I want to play with them, right? I want to say, hey, you know what? I think we're in a magic forest, and I think those trees are our friends. Like, I want to do stuff like that, right? Which, frankly, I actually do think. That's a frequency that is beautiful. And it's a frequency that is just so filled with creativity and imagination, and it's filled with life. It teems with life. That frequency and that intention, when a person communicates or has an interaction with or a relationship with another person, or with an animal, a dog, or whatever, or your piano or your guitar. But the frequency, if a person has an intention that is heart-oriented and coming from the heart and coming from a place of absolute loving and love, absolute, connection with another person, not connection with self and what are you going to get from that other person and how can I use them, not that, but a connection with like, I really want to hear what you have to say. It's important to me. That intention and the connection with that frequency cannot be faked. That can't be faked. If somebody is faking or trying to fake a high frequency or a frequency of like, I really care about how you're feeling right now. If somebody is faking that, the intention is not that. The intention is like, oh yeah, well, I really care for you. Like, how are you doing? I really care for you. I really want to know how you're doing. And they really don't. They really want to do something else or get to doing something else or need you to do something else. You can fake that frequency all you want, but it's not going to be truth. It's going to be a lie. Having said that, we're at a place right now where there's a war going on. Many of you know this. Many of you don't. Many of you know it on some level and don't want to look at it. Many of you know it and want to do something to help win it. That war is between God, good, creative beauty, and evil. That's the bottom line. That's what the war is. And there's a path, and we all get a choice on that path. And that choice is, am I on the Creator's side or am I on the dark side? And that choice has an underlying element whereby the choice is made, I think, or the choice is influenced, and it's to pick the side of creativity and God and the Creator who is our Creator, who has given us this beautiful planet and given us life. That Creator who has made us all brothers and sisters in the same family. We're in the family. We're in the family of humanity. That's the family we're in. If a person has the intention or the conflict of, I want to be on God's side. I want to be on the side of humanity. But if I do that, I really got to make sure I'm me first and, my family first or whatever. I understand that. Who doesn't want to survive, right? But the thing is, if you're not on the side of humanity and you're on the side of self, and your motivations are not truly for the good and the elevation of people, but they're for the survival, the greed, the protection of self, there's a conflict. Now, some people don't have a conflict with that at all. Some people just go, yeah, I'm on the side of humanity, but then they go off and do things to screw people up. They do things to manipulate. They do things to lie. They cheat. They lie. It's not on the side of humanity. And of course, then they go, well, I did it because, or, well, no, I didn't do it at all. Okay. See what I mean by frequency? Do you know, I have a heart that is so in touch. I was thinking about this earlier, I was thinking about this morning. It's funny. I've always, ever since I've been born, as far as I can remember, I've always been so connected to people. Like I've been so connected to the person in front of me. Now, I haven't always done the right things, like ever. I've done lots of bad stuff, but, and I won't bother listing them. That'll be another video. But yeah, I've done bad things for sure. But the thing is, I've paid, like I really paid. I'll tell you one little story. When I was a little kid, it was winter. I grew up in rural Nova Scotia. And I was coming home from school, and it was, there was lots of snow, and there's a whole bunch of kids, and we were all walking home from school. And there were some of the kids in the neighborhood, like I say, where I grew up, there were 900 people in the whole village, and, it was not a metropolis, put it that way. But anyway, I took and I made this perfect snowball. I was probably I'd be about probably 10 years old. And I made this beautiful snowball, and I made it so round and so perfect. And there was another kid who was older than me by about 2 years. And he says, I'm going to take your snowball. And I looked at my snowball and I go, no, you're not going to take my snowball. I was like a little girl, and he was like about, 12 or 13. And he goes, yeah, I'm taking your snowball. And I go, no, you're not taking my snowball. I'm not giving you my snowball. And he says, okay, well then, if you're not going to give me your snowball, then here's what I want you to do with it. See Teddy over there? Now, Teddy was a little boy about my age, a little redheaded boy, actually hair kind of my color, auburn, and curly auburn if I recall. Anyway, Teddy was a really nice little boy. He gave me a book before that. Teddy gave me a book called Circus Boy, and Mickey Dolenz, who was an actor in the Monkees years later, well, he was a little kid who played in this TV show called Circus circus boy. I met Mickey Dolenz actually when I was playing in Toronto one time, and he was kind of an asshole. But anyway, that's another story. Anyway, but I liked the book, Circus Boy. And Teddy, I really liked Teddy because he was such a nice little boy and he gave me the book. This other boy, Colin, he says, I want you to throw the snowball at Teddy. And my heart just sunk. I was really faced with this dilemma. I did not want to, number one, I didn't want to throw my snowball at anybody. I loved it. It was a beautiful piece of work I'd done. Number two, I didn't want to throw it at Teddy. I was really torn. Colin stood there and he said, what are you going to do? You going to give me the snowball or are you going to throw it? Well, instinctively, I knew if I gave the snowball to Colin, he would throw it at Teddy and he would hit him and he would hurt him. So I said, well, I'll throw the snowball. That way, in a way, I compromised my sovereignty as a 10-year-old. But I also had a little bit of control in the situation. And what I did was I threw the snowball, but I did my damnedest to miss Teddy. And I think I did miss him actually. But Teddy's heart was broken because I did that. And to this day, and I will not tell you how many years later, but it was a lot. To this day, that memory surfaces every so often, and I feel badly that I did that. You know, caught between a rock and a hard place. Even as a 10-year-old, like that's a big deal. This is how I felt. Many years later, that's my apology to Teddy. So, as I was saying a little earlier, you know, there are choices. We can choose to do the right thing. We can choose to do the wrong thing. You know, we all have choices. And those choices are, where's your heart? What does your heart say? In that situation I told you about Teddy, like I had a lot of, you know, mind come in there and try to help figure it out. My heart was broken, literally broken. But as I was saying, actually, I've always had like a connection to people from as long as I can remember. A heart connection with people. No matter who it is, really. Unless they're being like a real turd. Then, you know, I have work to do on my own front. But the funny thing that I was thinking this morning was, with all the heart connection I've had to people, I have never, ever fit in. I've never fit in to the little systems and the big systems that are rampant with us all today, you know? Like, I mean, the system of girlfriends, the system of, oh yeah, we, you know, there's a whole group of girlfriends and we all get together and we have lunch and we, you know, have wine and we chit-chat, we do all this stuff. Like I don't know, I tried it, but it just I didn't fit. I've never fit really anywhere. I've never really found anywhere that I fit on a like a material kind of playing field, on a programming kind of societal, politically right, political wrong, any of those types of things. Like I've just never fit anywhere. The only place I've ever fit was on a one-to-one, where I can be with the heart and the soul of who I'm with. And the soul is right now what the prize is for the warring forces. And the warring forces, as I've said to you earlier in this war, they're the forces of evil. They're satanic, they're Luciferian, they're dark, they're rampant. The other forces are the ones of light. So you get your shadow dark forces and you get your light forces. The light forces are those that, like a friend of mine who I value with my heart, her name's Ivy, and stray animals find her. She talks to geese. Like she'll go out in a parking lot. I saw a video she did. She went out in a parking lot and a goose in the spring was having trouble because the goose couldn't find any grass. It was covered with snow. Ivy went out on her break and she realized what this goose's dilemma was, and she took her foot, while she was filming this, she took her foot and she cleared a bunch of snow to produce grass for the goose. And the goose went over, sat on the grass and started eating it. Well, that's a person who is on the side of good. That's a person whose frequency is beauty, compassion, understanding, and connection with life. Then you get these people in cars, right? And the geese are crossing the street. Well, people will line up and stop to let those geese cross. And I was watching them cross one day, not that long ago, actually. Excuse me. And like they went across. One of the babies strayed. The mama came back, herded the baby back. The baby was like a little rebel, right? Kind of like me. And going everywhere. And the mama and all the people were just sitting in their cars, like patiently waiting for, the goose dilemma with their family to be completed so that they could carry on home. It was beautiful. And then I thought, if there was somebody, say like a person who was psychotic, or a person who was homeless, or a person who was drunk or inebriated or not conscious, and they were having trouble crossing the street and cars were stopping, what do you think the response would have been from some of those people? Do you think they'd have sat there and given that person love? Or do you think they would have honked and yelled at them? What do you think? That's what I mean, That's what I mean. Just a choice like that. Are you choosing dark and shadows, or are you choosing the light? Don't you love that chord? I love that chord. I like that chord too. Here it is again. I get joy out of that chord. I love those flourishes, you know, they're just so filled with life. Shall we have that other one again? Oh my, doesn't that just, I don't know, maybe that doesn't resonate with you, but oh, you know, I love those chords. They're so lush. They're just filled with such love. I mean, do you feel the love on that, right? Oh, it's love, but it wants to lead you somewhere. Like, you know how when you fall in love, that beautiful feeling where you just want that to resolve into. We don't get that chord again. Gotta listen again to that chord again. However, I can give you another one that's pretty. Okay, one more time. Now let's change that up just a little bit. And you want it to go somewhere, don't you? There's something to be said for being in love. You can be in love with life. You can be in love with the tree in your backyard. Me? I'm in love with my squirrel. I'm in love with dogs. I've been in love with people, probably still am. I've had a few people I've been in love with. And I want to end this, I guess, on a note kind of like that. Pardon the pun. But I guess I've made my point. My point is, you can't fake a frequency. You can't fake a frequency, and the frequency comes from your intention. What is your intention? Is your intention to elevate and give to God, give to the Creator, give to this beautiful, beautiful place we're going to as humanity? Or is your intention for self-protection, self-aggrandization, is it about self or is it about others? If it's about others, we've got a fantastic world. And I think many, many of us are just on the doorstep of that world right now. Everybody will eventually be on that doorstep and eventually be in that world. For some, it may take longer. It's all up to them because they have free will, you know? But I guess I could end with something else. It's a hope. Thank you. I love you. Really do.